Hello, welcome back to China Cooking in a Condo. Today I'm going to show you how to make cauliflower fritters. These are, I suppose, they're keto friendly, definitely low carb, very, very tasty, and you can sort of make them your own way. What you need is as follows. You need a cauliflower, okay? I'm going to use a whole cauliflower for this. You need, well, you don't need chilies. They're as you like. Optional is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Garlic. Again, do you need garlic? I think probably you do need garlic. Actually, yeah. Need some garlic. I haven't got any ginger here. I thought I had ginger, but I haven't. But that's quite nice in this. You definitely need an onion, a couple of eggs, salt, and pepper. And what cauliflower? Look, if there was ever a real marriage that lasts forever, that was beautiful and good and everything, it would be cauliflower and cumin. Cumin and cauliflower are just amazing together. So what I'll do is chop everything up and get everything ready. Oh, one more thing as well, sorry. Need some flour. Now I'm using almond flour, which is very expensive, by the way, in Thailand. But this is truly, truly low carb. So you want to keep your fritters low carb, use almond flour. So I've decided to use 4 red chilies and 5 cloves of garlic. That's for my taste. And I ended up using that whole onion. So here we have here the onion and garlic and chili fried down with some olive oil. And this is the cauliflower. I decided this time I'm going to steam the cauliflower. You can just boil it normally, but the thing about this recipe is it's sort of fairly mushy. And I don't want to introduce too much water into the cauliflower because it just makes it a little bit harder to handle when you're trying to make your fritters. So what we have here now, I've got the cauliflower mashed down. I just use the back of a fork because I don't have a masher, but also we don't want to make this really soft like mashed potato. Otherwise, again, when you're going to try to fry this up, it'll just fall apart. And I've just put in then the onion and garlic and pepper mixture. Obviously chili. So give it a good mix together. Add the seasoning. So first of all, some decent rock salt. I try to use decent salt, not the horrible pure white stuff. And then, of course, black pepper. Always goes well with everything, especially cauliflower, in my opinion. So a good squeeze of that. And then, of course, the cumin. But that's the one that's empty, so I'll try the one that actually isn't empty. There we go, a new one. Pretty hard to find this stuff, actually. I couldn't find it in big supermarkets. And it's expensive. But there is an Indian place nearby I should go to again and get my spices. I really should do, because, say, in the Thais don't tend to use stuff like cumin very much, so it's all expat price stuff, you know what I mean? So expensive. So I'll just bung in some cumin, and as much as I think it should be. There you go, just easy way to get into a packet. Yeah, bung in some cumin. That should be enough. Maybe, yeah, a bit more. Why not? And then give us a really good mix together. Make sure everything's incorporated. Also give it a bit of a mash as well, because, you know, as I say, it already isn't probably perfectly mashed like I want it to be, but when you sort of mash it a little bit more, everything obviously sticks together a bit more as well, if that makes sense. I hope it does. And now just yeah, make sure it's all combined. Lovely. I can smell it already. You know, because the cauliflower's hot and the cumin is sort of starting to smell off the cauliflower. It's really nice. I wonder if you could eat this like you could eat this like this, no problem. But yeah, you could do. It'd be like a cauliflower mash, a cauliflower cumin mash. Must try it sometime. Anyway, in with the eggs. You need a couple of eggs, I found, for this size of recipe, just to bind everything properly. And especially because I'm not going to be using too much flour, because, well, first of all, I haven't got much flour left, that almond flour, because it's very hard to find here. It's very expensive. I had to order it online. And also, I mean, if you really want to keep your total carbs down, I mean, you can use any other flour you want to use, probably even chickpea flour. But obviously you're adding the carbs then. But also, you know, the thing with flour is you have to cook it out properly, and sometimes it can be really hit or miss if you actually get it done, especially when you have big thick fritters. So I'm keeping the flour to a minimum, because this recipe is by its nature quite a mushy, sort of like soft texture, so it doesn't really matter that much. And the flour is just basically an extra binding agent with the eggs. Probably you could do without it, I don't know, I haven't tried without it yet, but I might give it a go sometime. So that's the almond flour going in now. It's the last of it. Don't ask me how much that is. It's just, yeah, guesstimation. Like all my cooking is guesstimation. I mean, cooking is science, and there's science in cooking, but it doesn't always have to be exact science. Sometimes you just have to know. And the thing is as well, depending on the size of the egg, the size of the cauliflower, how much water there is, blah blah blah, you can't really give exact measurements for things, because everything just varies so much. You know, how much onion there is, how much water is in the onion, it's all variable. So it's a question of just, you know, I don't know what you call it, just using your common sense and using your eye and just feeling what you think is right. Yeah, so I don't think anything's really wrong. Obviously you don't want it to be totally mushy, otherwise you'll never be able to scoop it up and put it into your hand and fry it. But on the other hand, you don't want it to be rock solid, you know, like cement. So you can see I'm giving it a really, really good mix here. Now I want to talk about cauliflower. Cauliflower has about 5 grams of, oh, how do we taste there? Yep, tastes nice. I'm having to do this recording after this voiceover afterwards, because for some reason the microphone didn't pick up what I was saying. Okay, so now it's time to do the fry up bit. I just chucked out those eggshells, got some olive oil in the pan. I haven't even bothered washing the pan out. What's the point, you know? There's a bit of chili and garlic and onion still in there. I suppose the problem is you could burn it, but you know, I'm lazy. So get a nice big scoopful of this stuff. See, the mixture is quite soft, as I told you before it would be, but not unworkable. I just try to squeeze any sort of like leftover moisture out of it, make it into a shape that looks roughly, well, it looks nice, put it that way, and just bung it in the pan, and there you go. So probably get about 4 of those, maybe 3 or 4 into that pan. And how long they take to cook depends, I suppose, on the, well, it does, no suppose about it, it depends on the thickness of the patty you've made, and also the heat of the pan. I'm not telling you how to suck eggs, but just be careful, of course. If you have the pan too hot, you just burn the outside and the inside won't be cooked, which, you know, honestly, it doesn't matter that much as health-wise for this, because everything's already cooked, but it doesn't taste very nice when you have, you know, bite into one of these and it's cold on the inside. So try, unlike me, to get all the patties the same size, uniform size and thickness, because that way you can take them all at the same time, and you know, if one's ready, you know they're all ready. But just on cauliflower, really, really good keto vegetable. It's got 5 grams of carb per 100 grams of cauliflower, and about half of that 5 grams is it's fiber, basically. So it's not sugar, carbohydrates that you'll actually metabolize. So it's pretty low calorie. It's pretty low carb. And when you take into account with the onion and everything, we'll put it this way, that cauliflower was 600 grams, and I ended up getting about, I think, 10, probably 10 fritters out of this. So that's 60 grams per fritter. Basically, if you work it out, okay, if you work it out, with your flour, especially using almond flour and your onion and stuff, you probably have less than 5 grams. Yeah, probably less than 5 grams of carbohydrate per one of these. And to be keto, you really have to be below about 20 grams of carbs per day. So if you have 2 of these, and that's just half of your carb requirement in the day. If you're not keto, if you're just low carb, well, even better. You can have as many as you want, really. Well, you can't really. Now, this is one of the things about working with softish ingredients like this, that they do break up sometimes, and maybe in me, I show you the good bits, the nasty bits. Doesn't matter if it breaks up, just push it all together. At the end of the day, you're not going to serve this for Gordon Ramsay, or for MasterChef. This is something for you to eat yourself. So it does have to be pleasing to the eye, but if it's a little bit off shape, a bit cobbled together, then fair enough. But it smells so nice. So I'll just give these a bit of a fry until they're ready. You can see it's that nice brown on the side. How do I tell they're ready? Well, I got a very special method. I stick my finger in the middle, and if my finger gets burnt or it's very hot, then they're ready. So that's them turned out onto my cutting board, clean cutting board, of course. I'm just picking little bits off and tasting them, and I can say they're very, very nice indeed. So, they don't look like much, mate. They really don't. So, but they honestly taste really nice. And if you take more, I'm not a careful person with stuff like this. If you take more care, you could probably have these nice little round shapes. You could probably put them in little mouldy things, little round molds, and make them nice and round and everything. But I don't care about that. I'm eating it, and that's it. So I would encourage you to try these cauliflower fritters. They're really, really tasty. Cauliflower, not the cheapest thing in the world, but as I say, you get at least 10 fritters from this mixture, and that can last a couple of days. And these do last in the fridge, if you let them last in the fridge. I tend to end up snacking on them. When I feel like something to eat, just grab one cold from the fridge and eat it. And they're actually quite filling, because it is pure fibre basically you're eating. So yeah, cauliflower fritters, keto friendly, low carb friendly. I hope you enjoyed them, and yeah,